This is Greenland and this is Africa. On this map, both appear to be roughly the same size, and maybe Africa looks slightly bigger. If you grew up looking at these kinds of maps, this map would seem normal to you. But the truth is that Africa is 14 times bigger than Greenland. 14 times. This isn't a small mistake. This is a massive blunder. And what's even more shocking is that this distorted map is the same one many of us saw every day in school. From classroom walls to textbooks, movies, news, graphics, and even documentaries. Our entire understanding of the world is based on this map. This map is called the Mercator Projection, and it's probably the most famous map in the world. On this map, Greenland looks very large. Russia looks almost endless. Canada and Alaska also look very big, but Africa looks normal-sized. But when you correct the distortion, everything changes. The entire United States can fit inside Africa. And China too. You can even squeeze most of Europe into Africa and still have space left over. Africa isn't just big, it's overwhelmingly massive. Greenland, which looks like a tiny speck on the Mercator map, is actually the size of Congo, a small country inside Africa. Alaska, which looks like another tiny speck on this map, is actually smaller than Libya. So the obvious question is, if this map is so wrong, why is it everywhere? Why did we all grow up with it? Why do so many people think the world looks like this? To answer this, we need to go back to 1569. The Mercator projection was created by Belgian cartographer Gerardus Mercator. And here's the key point that most people don't know. He didn't design this map to teach geography. He designed it for navigation. In the 1500s, explorers didn't need accurate land sizes. They just needed directions. If you're crossing the ocean, you need a map where you can draw a straight line and follow that same compass direction for the entire journey. The Mercator projection does this perfectly. Any straight line on the map represents a constant bearing. For navigation, this is a great tool. But there's a trade-off. The farther you get from the equator, the more the land gets stretched. Near both poles, the distortion becomes extreme. Greenland and Antarctica become huge. Countries near the equator remain relatively accurate, but everything in the north and south gets compressed. Mercator knew this. He understood the distortion. He never intended for this map to be used in schools. This map was made just for sailors. So how did it become the default way of seeing the world? The answer again is in history. The Mercator map actually became popular during the era of European exploration and empire building. On this map, Europe looks big, powerful, and central. Britain, which is actually smaller than the U.S. state of Oregon, looks quite large. Similarly, Scandinavia also looks big. Africa, which is actually much bigger than all of these, looks normal-sized. So was this deliberate propaganda? Maybe not at first, but once this version of the world became the standard, it just became common, and it quietly created a hierarchy of countries and continents. Another reason for its dominance is familiarity. When people grow up with a certain image, different things feel wrong to them. Equal area maps feel strange at first. Oval maps feel incorrect, simply because they're unfamiliar. That's why the Mercator map became normal, and normal became truth. The third reason is practicality. The Mercator map is a rectangle. It's easy to print, frame, and fit into books and screens. Many alternative projections are oval or have complex layouts that don't fit as easily. But here's the problem. We no longer navigate using paper maps. We use GPS, satellites, and real-time digital navigation. The original reason for the Mercator projection no longer applies to everyday life. Yet billions of people believe this map is accurate. And this is important because maps are not neutral. They don't just show the world, they shape how we think about it. There are other options besides this map. Some projections, like the Gall-Peters, show area perfectly accurately. On these maps, Africa looks very large because in reality, it is large. The trade-off with this map is that shapes get stretched, especially near the equator. Other maps, like the Robinson projection, try to maintain balance. It's not perfect, but it's not terribly bad either. That's why National Geographic used it for many years. Recently, the Winkle triple projection has become National Geographic's standard. It shows size, shape, and distance quite accurately. It's not perfect, but it's much more accurate than other maps. Remember, there can be no perfectly flat map of a round planet. You have to give up something. The question is, what are you willing to sacrifice? If you're going to hang a world map on your wall, it shouldn't be wrong. It should show the world the way it actually is, not the way a 16th century navigation tool needed it to be. Because when you spend your whole life looking at a map where Africa looks small, where Europe looks huge, where distances are compressed or exaggerated, it changes your understanding of the world. It affects your understanding of global power, population, resources, and even news and headlines. Greenland is not as big as Africa, not even half of it. And that's why we should start looking at maps that tell the truth, instead of repeating the mistake that was handed down to us without ever questioning it. I'll be back soon with another interesting video. Goodbye.